Yeah, I would say like talk to professionals, somebody who knows his or her stuff better than you, obviously. If you want to invest in something, especially like real estate, you got to talk to professionals who are in the business and they're doing, this kind of investment themselves. So from real estate agent to mortgage broker, talk to them. And obviously they know ins and out of the market and how to proceed, some of the stuff that normal person who hasn't done the investment before, they don't know the details of it. So there are ways to approach it. And if you are not ready, and if you don't have the down payment, or if you don't have the conditions, you can definitely talk to a professional and then get ready, maybe down the road 6 months or 1 year down the road, achieve your goals.
Hey friends, have you ever wondered how you can pay off your mortgage faster? Or maybe you like to help your kids get into the real estate market, or better yet, retire with some passive income. Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Sylvia Ho Mortgage Podcast. My name is Sylvia. I'm here to teach you how to achieve your goals simply by owning just one more property. Hey friends, so we are here today with Ali. He's a business owner here in the Toronto area, and he purchased his first rental property. Being a self-employed individual, you do show lower income because you have your deductions, right? And then being self-employed, a lot of self-employed people are like, oh, can I really, purchase another property? Will the banks actually lend me money? So he talks about that process. And then the other thing that we're going to talk about today is how he vetted his tenant, and when an issue came up with the tenant, how he dealt with it. So enjoy this podcast. And if you guys are interested in learning more about the J.O.M.P program, which is all about owning just one more property, do connect with me. Go to sylviaho.ca to book a 15-minute consult, and then we can chat and see if J.O.M.P is all for you. Thanks. Hey everyone, today we're joined by Ali. Ali is from Toronto. He is a business owner and he owns a condo at Yonge and Sheppard area. He was seeing the equity that was building up in his condo, and he's like, what am I going to do with this equity? So he decided to purchase an investment property. And today, that's what we're going to talk to him about. So Ali, welcome to today's podcast.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thanks for having me.
So talk to me a little bit more about what were you looking for when you first came to me? Like before you even thought about, buying an investment property, what did you come to me for?
I was thinking if I am eligible at all for a mortgage, for a second mortgage. So that's why I initially consulted with you to see if I'm eligible for a second mortgage. And I was thinking about a potential purchase of a second investment property.
For an investment property. And then when you're saying potentially eligible, my understanding is because you're a business owner, right? And as a business owner, we can deduct a lot of expenses, right? So you and I were in the same boat, right? Because we're self-employed, we can deduct a lot of stuff. And then on our income taxes, it always shows lower, but we actually make more money. But with the deductions, it does show lower. And it's hard to qualify as a self-employed individual.
That's correct.
Right. So as a self-employed individual, most people are finding it tough. They're like, oh, you know what? It's great that I'm self-employed, but sometimes it's tough to qualify for a mortgage. And so walk me through that process. Why did you want to invest in real estate?
So the idea was basically to leverage this money or investment in the future and having an early retirement maybe, or using part of this investment for the daily use in the retirement time. And that's why I consulted with you, as you mentioned. So because a business owner going through a different route and different path in terms of like the income. So I wasn't quite sure if I'm eligible to get a second mortgage. And then you introduced me to other lenders, and there are different ways to look at the income.
Right. Absolutely. So talk to me about the process of going through J.O.M.P. Like, was it as hard as you thought? Was it easy?
Yeah, so the process itself, I think it was very step-by-step explained to me by yourself. The concept of having a property or investment property is daunting in itself, let alone and you want to think about it like how to get funds when you are having a business, for example, and then you don't have a regular T4. It's very daunting, but then when I consulted with you, it was very practical. So you walked me through step by step. You showed me that you can get some equity in your first home and then use that equity in case you need that one. So you pulled some money out of that. And then you walked me through the second mortgage, how we can get a second mortgage. And then there are B lenders, C lenders. And then you kind of rest assured me that there is possibility to get a second mortgage, but we went through a process of about like 6 to 9 months, I guess. And every step you explained the things to me. So it made sense. And then, so it was really step by step, I would say.
Okay. So it was basically very clear what you had to do at each stage of the process.
Exactly.
Right now, you've purchased your rental property.
Yes.
How happy do you feel about this investment property?
I'm very happy in terms of accomplish the goal that I had for a long time, but I wasn't quite sure how to reach that goal. And then I consulted with professionals, obviously worked with real estate agent. Myself, I talked to a professional mortgage broker, and all of the team helped me to achieve that goal. And obviously, like, I'm happy right now. Yes.
Yeah. So is your place rented out right now?
Yes.
How long did it take you to find that investment property? You ended up buying an investment property here in the Toronto area.
Yes, correct. So it took about, I would say, like 8 to 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
Overall. So from the time that the first step was to take some equity out of the primary resident. Mm-hmm. And then the next step was basically talking to a real estate agent, looking for a property in different areas and see what makes sense in terms of the budget and etc. So yeah, overall 8 to 9 months, but step by step.
Okay. So it took you about 8 to 9 months to find this investment property, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But the whole process, I mean, like
the whole process.
Yes. From getting a line of credit to finding the property to second mortgage, everything all together.
Okay. All right. So what would you tell your younger self, right? What would you tell your younger self if you were going to say 3 things to our listeners today, or even to yourself, and you would say, okay, if I was 20 years old today, what would I say to myself? Would you do anything different?
Yeah, I would say like talk to professionals, somebody who knows his or her stuff better than you, obviously. If you want to invest in something, especially with real estate, you got to talk to professionals who are in the business and they're doing, this kind of investment themselves. So from real estate agent to mortgage broker, talk to them. And obviously they know ins and out of the market and how to proceed. Some of the stuff that normal person who hasn't done the investment before, they don't know the details of it. So there are ways to approach it. And if you are not ready, and if you don't have the down payment, or if you don't have the conditions, you can definitely talk to a professional and then get ready, maybe down the road 6 months or 1 year down the road, achieve your goals.
Okay. So what I hear that you're saying to your younger self is talk to professionals, ask a lot of questions, talk to the professionals who have done it before, and learn off of their experience.
Yes.
Now, talk to me a little bit more. Now, you're managing your own property, right?
Yes.
How's that going? How's your tenant?
It's good. I mean, definitely it's an experience as well. I haven't done it. I mean, like I've done it a little bit in terms of dealing with somebody who's renting, but it's quite an experience in terms of, finding a tenant. Obviously, I was going through MLS and a real estate professional real estate agent. I'm communicating with my tenant myself, and it's going very well. I mean, you got to do your due diligence, but some of it's luck as well, right?
Do your due diligence. Okay, so hold on for a sec. Let's back up for 2 seconds for our audience to understand. So you bought the place, you closed on it, and then you put the listing up on the market for rent,
yes.
Right? And did you use a real estate agent or did you do it yourself?
Yes, I used the real estate agent.
Okay, so you used a real estate agent. Okay, so you used a real estate agent, and agents typically charge 1 month's rent. They charge you 1 month's rent and they find a tenant. Now, did you tell the real estate agent like what kind of client you were looking for, or were you willing just to take anybody like who's first applied? Like, how did you decide on what tenant or what kind of tenant or which tenant to, accept?
Yeah, so we got like a few different applicants, and then my real estate agent presented those applicants to me. And then with the consultation with him based on his experience, and then we look at different credit score and then different things, which is quite common, I think, in this real estate market, we decided to move forward with one of the applicants.
So you had like 3 to 4 applicants that came in, or 2 to 3, or 1 to 2?
I think the final was 2. So 3 were interested, and then it was very quick. It was less than a week that we got like some offers, and then we decided between 2 major applicants.
Okay. All right. Okay. So perfect. Let me just run our audience through this. So you closed on the place. Did you have to do any renovations to the condo?
No.
No. So it was ready to go to be rented out, right? You didn't have to paint it or put up blinds or anything
No,
like
it was
that?
done before. So
It was done before. Okay. So it was always
yeah.
already prepared, ready to go. Okay. So once you closed, then you got the real estate agent to help you, right? List it. And then how did you decide what price to list it at?
So real estate agent presented some of the recent rents in the market in the same building or surrounding areas. And then we figured like even 2 days before that, we realized that it's the rent is a little bit higher compared to like 3 months prior to that. So we just decided on the number and then move forward.
Okay. So then you decided on a number and then the showing started and it was for 1 week, right? And then you got 3 people interested and then 2 people put in applications.
Correct. Yes.
And then you got to choose between these 2. Okay, perfect. So between these 2 individuals, how did you pick one over the other?
Like I said, there are certain criteria. I'm not a real estate agent, but they're looking at the credit score. Obviously, somebody is right now working, those kind of things, which is common and standards in the real estate market. And based on different criteria, you decide between 2.
Okay. So you were looking at credit score and whether they were working or not working. The condo that you bought, were you looking for 1 individual, 2 individuals, like a couple or a single person who's living there right now?
It's 1 person, but
1 person?
Basically it's a 1 bedroom. So potentially 1 to 2 people can live there, right?
Okay. So 1 to 2 people can live there. Okay. So in regards to documents, when the real estate agent showed it to you, this really, really helps the audience because you've been through it before where, you looked at, getting a tenant, right? So this really helps the audience try to understand like what was going through your experience with the real estate agent. So they showed you the credit score, they showed you their income documents, right? Was there anything else that you looked at? Did you scope them out on like social media at all?
I just look at it briefly on social media as well.
Okay.
So one of the applicants sent me like a letter from his work, pay stubs, government ID, those kind of things to make sure, it's a professional person. Right. But those are like very common, I guess.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So now that you have your tenant in there, have there been any issues?
Not a major issue. Like unfortunately, the first month, we realized that there was an issue with the laundry system. So the washer dryer. So I had to change that one. That was the main issue that I had. And I was pretty quick and, helped the tenant within 2 weeks to buy a new unit. And then we removed the old one, replaced it. So he was really happy.
Okay. Very, very good. And so now you have a happy tenant.
Exactly.
Paying rent on time every single month.
Correct. Yes.
No other issues?
No other issues so far. Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. Knock on wood. That's beautiful. Anything that you would want to tell the audience if they were thinking about J.O.M.P, but hasn't quite pulled the trigger yet? What would you say to them?
I would say that definitely talk to a professional like yourself. Talk to Sylvia. And then if you're not eligible or you are missing something or, you have some doubts, she can help you navigate this process. So it might be difficult for some people to think about like renting a place and they think it's so difficult to deal with a renter. It might be like financial things. So they think like myself, I wasn't quite sure if I can get like a second mortgage. So these are the questions that Sylvia can help you with.
Okay. So basically you're saying, hey, you know what? Seek answers and then make an educated decision instead of deciding based on your own assumptions and your own fears.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Hey friends, thanks so much for listening to the Sylvia Ho Mortgage Podcast. We'll catch you on the next episode. You want to learn more about the J.O.M.P program, please connect with me at sylviaho.ca. Love to hear from you. All it takes is 15 minutes for us to chat to see if this will work for you. Thanks, guys.